Colonel Robert Fromholz, deputy head of the armament agency, Agencja Uzbrojenia, told Polsat News that procuring 96 American AH-64E Apache Guardian combat helicopters for the Polish army will take only a few weeks. In the 1980s, the American Army debuted the new AH-64A Apache combat helicopter, which was outfitted with two principal weapon systems: the 30mm M230 automatic gun, which could penetrate the top armor of Soviet tanks, and the then completely new laser-guided Hellfire anti-tank missiles. At the same time, its heavy armor, sturdy construction, and defensive measures shielded the crew from hostile air defense. The Apache was meant to function during the day, especially at night and in inclement weather. The Apache can be described as a 24/7 Hellfire carrier. Hellfire was not created for the Apache. Rather, the Apache was designed for Hellfire. The Apache's primary mission was to destroy large numbers of Soviet-Russian combat vehicles, particularly tanks and infantry fighting vehicles. Since 2012, the most recent version has been designated as the AH-64E, previously known as the AH-64D Block 3. According to official US Army records, the AH-64E is known as the Apache Guardian. Hence, its full name is the AH-64E Apache Guardian. However, it was formerly known as the AH-64E Guardian, which did not catch on. The main sensor is a sophisticated optoelectronic turret designed specifically for the Apache Guardian and designated AN/ASQEN AAR-11, commonly known as MTPNVS, Modernized Target Acquisition Designation Site, Pilot Night Vision Sensor. The turret includes a targeting and weapon guidance subsystem, MTADS, as well as an infrared subsystem for nighttime and poor weather navigation, PNVS. Both subsystems can operate independently. The turret is augmented by a removable AN/APG-78 longbow millimeter wave radar positioned above the main rotor. The radar has a range of 16 kilometers. Both sensors detect, classify, track, and identify targets on land and at water, destroying them with onboard weapons. Thus, the AH-64E is also suitable for maritime operations in Poland, particularly over the Baltic Sea. The communications equipment is critical. The AH-64E helicopters are outfitted with the L3 Communications MUM-TX, manned-unmanned teaming expansion, and Link 16 data lines. The MUM-TX, resistant to jamming and interception, enables two-way data transmission, including video, between the helicopter and various unmanned aerial vehicles over tens of kilometers. The MUM-TX antenna is located above the rotor and hence cannot be used with the longbow radar. Polish helicopters will also receive the MUM-T data link. However, it is unknown if it will be the most recent MUM-TX. Poland has long considered replacing Soviet Mi-24 helicopters as part of the Kruk program. 10 years ago, there was talk of buying Apaches from Boeing. The entire procedure was hastened following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. In August 2023, the American Defense Security Cooperation Agency, DSCA, approved the sale of 96 Apache Guardians and 37 APG-78 radars, one-third of the helicopters, as well as up to 1,844 AGM-142R2 Hellfire missiles and 460 AGM-179A JAG-M missiles. Furthermore, in March 2023, the DSCA authorized the sale of 800 AGM-140R2 missiles. Poland will so receive around 3,000 Hellfire and JAG-M anti-tank guided missiles over the next 4 years. The transaction also includes 7,650 WGU-59B guidance components, which convert 70mm unguided Hydra-70 rockets into laser-guided missiles capable of delivering a variety of payloads. These rockets can destroy almost everything, including infantry, bunkers, combat vehicles, with the exception of tanks, radars, command centers, and air defense sites. They also appear to be capable of destroying drones. Furthermore, the DSCA sells 508 Stinger 92K Block 1 air-to-air missiles, with the latest version of the Apache Guardian featuring wiring and connectors that allow twin Stinger launchers to be attached to 2 external pylons. The maximum contract price is $12 billion. American FMF, foreign military financing, loans may cover part of the contract. Government FMF loans are often interest-free or low interest and last for 15 years or more. Due to inflation, the recipient, the United States' closest friend, can save up to several tens of % of the order's value. Furthermore, loans can always be written off. On July 24th, Colonel Fromholtz announced that offset agreements would be signed in the coming weeks, followed immediately by the contract to purchase 96 Apache Guardians. Colonel Robert reports that the offset agreement with Boeing Defense and General Electric for procuring AH-64 Apache helicopters is nearing completion. The negotiations have taken longer than had been anticipated. However, they are currently in their final phases, and it is anticipated that the contract will be signed shortly. Despite the extended negotiation period, the timeline for leasing AH-64D helicopters is still on track. Colonel Robert has affirmed that the initial shipment of these leased aircraft is expected to arrive in Poland either at the conclusion of this year or at the beginning of the following year. In particular, the United States Army will furnish 8 older Apache Longbows model AH-64D as an interim solution. These leased AH-64Ds will function as a temporary solution, enabling Polish forces to commence training and operations with Apache helicopters while they await the delivery of the more recent AH-64E models. This strategy guarantees that Poland can rapidly improve its attack helicopter capabilities in the near term while still utilizing the most advanced technology in the long term, following the delivery of the permanent AH-64E fleet. The servicing of CT-72E1 turboshaft engines for AW-149 helicopters, CT-78E engines for AW-101 helicopters, and T-700-701D engines for S-70I Black Hawk and AH-64E Apache Guardian helicopters in Poland will be made possible by offset agreements with General Electric. All 4 types, A11, AW149, S70I, and AH-64E, are currently or will be adopted into the Polish military. In September 2023, Lockheed Martin executed the initial offset agreement concerning the diagnostics of potential malfunctions and partial servicing of longbow radars. The servicing of Apache Guardian helicopters is the subject of the offset agreement with Boeing. Boeing, in contrast to General Electric and Lockheed Martin, was the most reluctant to approve the offsets, which resulted in the delay in sales, according to Polish media. General Adam Kuptel, the director of the Armament Agency, addressed the situation concerning a pending agreement with the US in early July. He stated that the letter of acceptance, a document, had been pending his signature for several months. The general clarified that the offset package was a prerequisite for the signature of this agreement. General Kuptel observed that 2 of the partners were not experiencing any complications. Nevertheless, he conveyed apprehension regarding Boeing, a partner that appeared to lack comprehension of the situation. He attributed this to Boeing's prospective lack of experience. Boeing was encouraged by the director of the Armament Agency to replicate the actions of other manufacturers in this regard. He emphasized that the contract would be executed without delay if an agreement could be reached. In his statement, General Kuptel emphasized the significance of the offset package in finalizing the agreement and the necessity for all parties, particularly Boeing, to align their understanding and approach with the Armament Agency's expectations. His comments indicated a willingness to proceed expeditiously once the conditions were satisfied, and a degree of exasperation with the current impasse. The Apache Guardian's introduction will enable the Polish Army to retire 13 Mi-24D-V helicopters that are obsolete, 12 of which were previously transferred to Ukraine. The Mi-24D was produced from 1981 to 1985, and the Mi-24 was transferred to Poland in 1986. A single unit was delivered to Poland in 1991. The number of Mi-24s in operation has decreased from 43 in the past 2 decades. The helicopters that are presently in use have an average age of 18 years. Now, do you think Poland will be able to maintain these weapons which it is purchasing from the US, as they are very costly? Let us know in the comments. We discuss such interesting topics every day. Please like, share and subscribe for more such stories in the future.